territorial or local division of a province, the inhabitants of which are incorporated are entitled to hold property collectively for a public purpose. Yeah, that's probably pretty accurate.
Incorporated inhabitants.
Yeah. Driver, Traffic Safety Act of Alberta, means a person who is driving or in actual physical control of a vehicle. So then, based on the Interpretation Act of Alberta, remember, Interpretation Act said that a person was a corporation and then a driver is a person, so am I a driver? Do you want to take a break?
Yeah, before we go, I just want to tell these people a couple of points. If you go straight out these doors and to your left, that's where the washrooms are. If you go through this door over here, they do have a cafeteria down here. And we're gonna break probably at about 12:15 or so that if you wanna go there and grab something, you can probably do it after the rush is over. But if you wanna go out, of course, you all know that Westmount Mall is up here. There's Boston Pizza, Tim Hortons, McDonald's, and there's Albert's inside the mall, so you can find some fast food somewhere, I'm sure. Because when we do break, we're gonna stop for 1 hour and we're gonna start again in 1 hour because there's a lot of material.
Okay, we ready to go?
Yeah, we'll try and go to about 12:15.
Okay.
That way, the main rush is over at the cafeteria. And we'll take an hour.
Okay. Okay. So, the whole purpose of showing all of this stuff is to show that none of it applies to people, okay? It all applies to corporations, and it has nothing to do with us. But what happens is if we get involved in it, then the courts presume that we know the law and presume we agree to it. That's all. That's what happens. The court presumes we agree to it. This was an interesting one. This is section 14 of the Interpretation Act. It says, no enactment is binding on Her Majesty or affects Her Majesty's rights or prerogatives. Remember that other court case I showed you about prerogative right? In any matter unless the enactment expressly states that it binds Her Majesty. So, I mean, if the Queen has an oath of office to us, then, you know, some of them might affect her, but they certainly don't affect us, do they? This is in the BC Interpretation Act. Basically says the same thing. Person includes a corporation, partnership, party, personal or other legal representative of a person. Canada Interpretation Act. No enactment is binding on Her Majesty or affects Her Majesty or rights or prerogatives in any manner. BC Motor Vehicle Act. Owner includes a person in possession of a motor vehicle. So it's a corporation. An owner is a corporation, so you don't want to be an owner. Driver, BC Motor Vehicle Act. You know, it was really hard to find it. Every time I go somewhere, I try to find some stuff in their local statutes to show them, because, and it usually doesn't take very long, but in BC it was a little bit, I had to spend some time, and this was the best thing I could find. So anyways, driver means a driver who holds a driver's license on which a condition is imposed and includes any such person. So it's corporation again. Indian Act. In this act, Indian means a person. Corporation, did you guys know your corporations? In this act, and this is Indian Act again, elector means a person.
Registered.
Yeah, registered.
Yeah, you get a registration number.
Yeah. Okay, in Magna Carta, we can presume that they know the law. Either that or their supervisors have perjured their oath of office. Think about that. Chapter 45 of the Magna Carta says, we will appoint as justices, constables, sheriffs, or bailiffs only such as know the law of the realm and mean to observe it well. That to me is saying that we can presume they know the law. And Section 19 of the Criminal Code says ignorance of the law is no excuse. So they're supposed to know the law. They have no right to charge a fee for their so-called justice. That's why they have a thing called a petition of right. Matter of fact, in my lawsuit, I'm calling it a petition of right. And I ain't gonna pay no filing fees either, or somebody's gonna get arrested. Anyways, Chapter 40 of the Magna Carta says, to none will we sell, to none will we refuse or delay right or justice. Law merchant is private international law, and they're violating Chapter 38 of the Magna Carta. No bailiff for the future shall upon his unsupported complaint put anyone to his law. Okay? Well, that's essentially what they're doing. The cops are doing. They're putting you to their law, right? Their private law. Without credible witnesses.
You notice that's plural.
Right? More than one. And a credible witness means it can't be another cop. They have no right to do anything to us except by common law. Chapter 29. No freeman shall be taken or imprisoned or diseased or exiled in any way or destroyed, nor will we go upon him nor send upon him except by the lawful judgment of his peers or the law of the land. Now, law of the land. What do you think that means?
Common law, shouldn't it be?
Exactly what it means.
10 Commandments.
I can show you court cases that talk about it. But some people, the sheeple, think that that means some statute, and that doesn't mean some statute. The phrase by the law of the land in chapter 29 means common law. The words by the law of the land as here used do not mean a statute passed for the purpose of working the wrong. This section was taken with some modifications from a part of the 29th chapter of the Magna Carta, which provided that no freeman should be taken or imprisoned or diseased of his freehold, but by a lawful judgment of his peers or by the law of the land. Lord Coke, in his commentaries, remember we talked about Lord Coke, upon this statute, says that these words, by the law of the land, mean by due course and process of law, which he afterward explains to be by indictment and presentment of good and lawful men where such deeds are done in due manner, or by writ original of the common law. In other words, by common law jury, by common law. Law of the land is common law. This is the New York Supreme Court. The phrase law of the land in chapter 29 means common law. This is a jury decision. To be the statutes which would deprive a citizen of his rights of person or property without regular trial according to the course and usage of common law would not be the law of the land. Get a load of this. Capitalization. Capitis diminutio. Well, I don't know, that's Latin. Meaning the distinguishing of status through the use of capitalization. And it's Roman law. A diminishing or abridgment of personality, a loss or curtailment of a man's status, or aggregate of legal attributes and qualifications. Now that's the minor one. Then there's capitis. Oh, I see. So that's the general term. Okay. Now we have capitis diminutio minima. Okay, meaning a minimal loss of status through the use of capitalization. In other words, John Doe with upper and lower case. Okay, the lowest or least comprehensive degrees of loss of status. This occurred when a man's family relations alone were changed. It happened upon his arrogation, pride, of a person who had been his own master, sui juris. Sui juris means not impaired by a contract, of his own right, not underlying a legal disability. Yeah, that's what sui juris means. Or upon the emancipation of one who had been under the patria potestas, parental authority. It left the rights of liberty and citizenship unaltered. Okay, so that's the minor one. Then there's the medium one, the media, meaning a median loss of status through the use of capitalization. Okay, John with the last name capitalized, Doe. A lesser or medium loss of status, this occurred where a man loses his rights of citizenship but without losing his liberty. It carried away also the family rights. And then the maxima, meaning a maximum loss of status through the use of capitalization. John Doe or Doe John. Isn't that how they do it now on the straw man's driver's license here in Alberta?